Good afternoon and welcome into the Walker Bullington Show here on the SHC Athletics YouTube channel. Nolan Cotillo joined by head coach of the Badgers, Walker Bullington. Coach, how are we doing today?
Doing good. Get an inter squad this afternoon and then go get after it tomorrow.
Sounds like a fun day. And yeah, now we've got some changes, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. The schedule changed this weekend to the Lane Series. But first, want to talk about Corey Bunzelmeyer getting his fourth SIAC Pitcher of the Week honor. An outstanding performance, shut out the Thoroughbreds while we were here 13-0. Struck out 6, 1 walk, and just a single hit in 7 innings of work. Talk about that.
Second to last hitter. He's probably the only guy that wins Pitcher of the Week and is upset, right? So, I mean, that just goes to show you how hard it is to do what he did. It was a 65-mile-an-hour duck snort that hit in the dirt right before the center field grass, perfectly placed. And it happens. I know the entire dugout, everybody on the field was pulling for him to get it, but just a really, really good performance. Got good stuff, and it was one of those where it wasn't mowing people down. He came out and, you mentioned six punchies, but he comes out in the first and it's, the fastball sinking and it's ground ball. Do really, really well. He and Parker, that battery, has been really good together all year, but Corey's got really good stuff, and, he's being rewarded for it because he goes out and earns it with his performances. So set the tone for us for the weekend as well. So came out and, got the defense going, getting a lot of ground balls. So he brings more to the table than just the performance. It's the way that he pitches, right? Wakes the defense up a little bit. We're going to get you a ground ball, kind of get things moving. And, so he's been really good in game one for us, just kind of setting the tone for the weekend, attacking hitters and getting the defense going early. So.
Yeah. And talk about the weekend as a whole, just a quickly recap for the folks at home. We had Kentucky State here and swept them. First game, 13-0 in 7 innings. Second game was the second game of the doubleheader that day, 13-3, and then the series finale, 16-1 in 7 innings. Pretty dominant performance across the board. A lot of guys getting in on offense. He had, a couple homers, Jackson Bell, Seth Williams, A.J. Swader, and then even a grand slam from Bryce Anderson. So just talk about what you saw as a whole this weekend.
Well, I think Fernando said it best after. That was the first weekend we went out and did what we were supposed to do, Statistically, we were supposed to sweep that series, but that's not how baseball works, right? We've talked in previous podcasts about how we're susceptible to laying an egg, maybe not showing up, being a little bit lethargic, not putting a performance together, can't string hits together. This weekend wasn't that weekend. We had a 2-inning span there where we couldn't get it going. Then all of a sudden we steal a couple bags, lay down a couple bunts, put on a couple plays. We put up a 4 spot, and then we're kind of off to the races again. So, you mentioned guys swinging it, Bryce destroyed the grand slam. J. Bell hits a homer. Seth, Swader. I thought top to bottom we had a really good weekend. Again, guys coming off the bench, being prepared and ready to go. And we turned it into 3 7-inning games. We had really good performances on the mound with Corey, with Rock, with Miles Justin. Guys pitched it well. We played good defense. I thought Parker and Reek were exceptional behind the dish. It was good to see Eli Benoit get back behind the dish again. Just all around good performance, and went out and took care of business the way that we should take care of business. I have a lot of respect for their program and their coach and the way they carried themselves. They played hard. They're going to be competitive, but we were better than they were this weekend, and we decided that we were going to go out and be better than them every single inning, and that's what it's going to take to continue to stack up wins and get better as the season goes on. So really good performance all around, and proud of the offense, proud of the defense, proud of us on the bump, and now you got a quick reset and get going again for the next conference set.
Yep, and we'll talk about that after the break. Some changes with that series coming up, so we'll give you the full update. When we come back, you're watching the Walker Bullington Show here on the SHC Athletics YouTube channel.
This is the way down a path that leads to a place upon the hill, led by thought leaders, activists, and Jesuit princes. Among the hill is where tradition and a strong desire to do and achieve reside. Ingrained in rich tradition, filled with purpose, fueled by passion. Springhill College is for those who seek more.
And welcome back to the Walker Bullington Show here on the SHC Athletics YouTube channel. Nolan Cotillo joined by head coach of the Badgers, Walker Bullington. Coach, some changes coming up for the series this week at home. We were supposed to be playing Friday, Saturday. So now we'll start the 3-game conference series against the Lane Dragons, starting with game 1 on Thursday at 5, and then Friday a doubleheader starting at 1. Second game following at approximately 4 o'clock, give or take. And then before we get to the midweek against West Florida, let's sit and talk about the Dragons. And but before we talk about kind of the series as a whole, how do you adjust, with having to kind of lose a day in terms of your preparations?
Yeah, so this week was weird. Like, we don't have a midweek, right? So you got Crab, who's usually starting on the midweek. He gets a week off, right? Because we don't have an opponent for him to go against. And then without the midweek, you got some guys who would normally get some action on Tuesday or Wednesday that aren't able to play. So we went inter-squad yesterday. We're going to inter-squad today. Give some of the guys that aren't starting some ABs. Give some guys that deserve some innings. Keep those guys fresh. And that's what it's about, is like trying to stay healthy with the guys that are everyday guys, trying to keep guys game ready and game speed that maybe aren't in the fold every single day. And then, like you said, you have to adjust. And the adjustment is we're going on short rest. We just went 2 Saturday, 1 Sunday versus Kentucky State. Now you turn around and go 1 Thursday, 2 Friday. Now, the good part of that is we kind of talked about the Kentucky State series and taking care of business. We played 3 sevens, which helped us, body-wise, time-wise, helped us pitch count-wise. Got some guys that we didn't have to use, and then having no midweek, it kind of helps us with those guys being able to do it. So I know some guys pinned yesterday, just adjusting the weekly schedule, and you got to get ready to go on the front end. But then having a Saturday, Sunday off, I'm sure these guys don't mind. It's that time of the year where you're looking forward to a day off, if you will.
Yep.
So I think the focus is going to be high. To be honest with you, I like turning around and playing again, especially after no midweek. It seems like the more days you're out of it in terms of playing a game, the tougher it is to kind of get going. So I think we'll be ready to go. And our job is to try to get 3 games in. Weather looks awful, Saturday and now Sunday as well as Monday. So going Thursday, Friday allows us to get 3 in. Talk to Lane, talk to the league. They were up for it. So we're going Thursday night and Friday for a double, and then hopefully go out and take care of business and then get a weekend off. But they're a group that they won the series against us last year at their place. They're going to be well coached. They're going to come out and play hard. They play a really good non-con schedule. I will say this. I'm going through doing the scouting report this morning. They did not return one hitter that we saw last year. So it's a brand new team. I've got info on one arm that we saw last year. So trying to dig into video and find what we can, but it's going to be a different team. But it's also a team that I think our guys remember took 2 from us last year, and so it should be a good test. They're firmly in the SAC race and trying to get in kind of the middle of the pack, and they're a tournament team that wants to come up here and win games. They've won 4 series in a row. They took 1 from Albany State. They've played well, so it can't be just roll them out and go play. We have to have high focus, high intent, high energy all weekend.
Yep. It's another week of being the hunted, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So that mentality, I mean, it's still kind of there. Is it what's going on in y'all's heads?
I think the Miles loss is the best thing that's ever happened to this program. I was talking about that with our captain yesterday. I'll tell it like it is. There's no reason we should have lost that game. You lose a game, then you turn around and you win 20, whatever it was, 24-2.
Yep.
Right. In the same day, same arms, 30 minutes later. How does it happen? Right. So that it had happened to us before, and we talked about it on here. But I think that was the one where guys are like, all right, like no more, can't happen, can't be lethargic, can't show up and do it that way. But I think you've seen that with the performances. The guys are pretty frustrated, and offensively, we've been on a tear here. Where it was like 23 runs, 16 runs, 9 runs, 13, 16, 13, or something. That's like our last 5. So that was kind of the thing we really needed to get going and get more consistent with. I've been proud of us on the bump all year, but we continue to swing the bats like that, apply pressure on the base paths, and get the pitching performances that we've had. We're tough to deal with. So looking to win the game in all phases this weekend and understand that there are no more lapses. There are no more lay an egg. It's go out and win every single day, because that's how teams are going to approach it against us. And they're going to give us everything they have to take one game from us, right? So we got to go out and take all 3 from them.
Yep. What's shaping up to be an exciting conference weekend is going to be followed by probably a way exciting midweek, a regional rival here coming to Sims Galley. West Florida is going to be your midweek next week, and we won't see you again until after that. So let's go ahead and talk about it. April 1st, 5 p.m. again here at Sims Galley Field. The Argos coming into town. We've took the first one from them 7-4 this season. what's the mindset, if you're looking that far ahead after the conference series?
Well, it's tough because we talked about it after practice yesterday. We had a good inter squad. We got some work in, and then we talked about kind of the schedule changes for this weekend, what the guys need to look forward to, prep, etc. Then we also mentioned about not looking ahead towards West Florida, right? Look ahead. That you hear it in sports all the time. Trap game. Well, we have a conference series, so there's no such thing as a trap series, right? Now, am I going to be unrealistic and say that our guys aren't thinking about next Tuesday and being fired up and ready to roll? Of course they are, right? It's in the back of my head as well. But at the same time, we got to go win one Thursday, and then we got to go win two on Friday. Then we can have our day off on Saturday, Sunday, do some tarp duty, and then let's kind of get the focus to there. But I mean, it's no secret that these two teams don't like each other. It kind of got a little testy at their place because we won 7-3. It was pretty simple, and they're going to come in here and give us everything they have. They have guys that have they've kind of flipped the switch, and they're sitting there at 19-10 and playing well in league play. And Stanhope is like number 4 in the country in ERA, a guy that they brought in against us at their place, and we had a homer, had 2 hits, scored a couple runs. Mandersheet's good. They're going to come out and give us everything they have, and it's going to be a dogfight. But it's what it's supposed to be, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's 2 regional teams that I think have a chance to make deep runs in May, and it's 2 teams that don't like each other, and that's what's fun about college baseball is, who's going to show up and be ready to go. But it's a big one for us, but so is everyone else, right? So's Thursday, so's Friday. So, it's trying to temper expectations and get ourselves to singularly focus on Lane game 1, then Lane game 2, and then we'll get ready to go against West Florida on Tuesday. But they're playing well, we're playing well, and it should be fun.
Yeah, these games always seem to mimic the it's a good word to describe it, the pageantry of the SEC, maybe.
Yeah. There's emotions. I would say a lot of times it's there's emotions.
Yeah. Oh, I mean it's part of. It's part of a rivalry.
It's part of it, right?
It's part of it.
So and you can't let and that's one thing I'd mention before we close it out here is you can't let the emotions get to you, right? It's got to be. It's can I remain focused? What is my job? How do I help us win? What is my job in this moment? How do I get 90 feet? Let me get the bunt down. Let me make the routine play. You start letting the antics and some of the stuff going on, and it affects you, then it gets you outside of your game. You lose focus, and then all of a sudden that's when you lose a lead, right? So our job is to stay with us, high intent, high energy, high focus, stay with us, and just go play the game.
Yeah. And once again, for the folks at home, just to go over the next few games coming up, Lane coming to Sims Galley Field in a 3-game series starting on Thursday at 5 p.m. That's game 1. And then game 2 and 3, part of a doubleheader. That'll be on Friday, March 28th, starting at 1. Game 2 following at approximately 4 o'clock. And then we will wrap out the kind of the week at against West Florida next Tuesday, April 1st at 5 p.m. Again here at Sims Galley Field. And then we'll see you again back here on the show. Coach Bullington. So we appreciate your time as always, and we appreciate you at home for watching us. Thank you so much. You've been watching the Walker Bullington Show here on the SHC Athletics YouTube channel.